Hello, I'm Helen Colebrook from Journal with Purpose, and I'm delighted to be back sharing another video on the Cult Pens YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about washi tape. If you enjoy journaling and stationery, then there's a fair chance you might end up with a really lovely supply of washi tapes over time. But I often get asked about what can you actually do with them. So in this video today, I'm going to share 10 of my favourite ways for using washi tape in your journal. So one of the first ways that I like to use washi tape is to kind of create a border on your page. And if you're somebody that can get quite intimidated by that blank page, this is a really good way to start. So sometimes I'll do it down just one side, but I also really enjoy using it as a frame. So I'll put it all the way around the outside of the pages. And one of the things I love about washi tape is that it's paper, so you can just tear it to the length that you want. You don't need to worry about keep cutting it, though I do often trim off the edges from pages. But also it's removable, so if you put something down and you don't like where it is, you can lift it off your paper and move it to another place. So something like this is really quick and simple to do and just immediately transforms the look of your journal page. And so now I've got that final piece down. If I wanted to, I could then decide perhaps to add my cover page or something like here or something like that for the new month. I think that looks so pretty. You could definitely decide to add some other elements to it if you wanted, and I might be coming back to do that a little bit later on in the video. The next thing that I really enjoy using washi tape for is categorizing my pages. So it could be if I wanted to easily be able to see which months of the year I'm covering in that particular journal page, or if I was journaling about a particular topic or keeping notes on something perhaps that I was researching or knew I wanted to come back to. Sometimes in my journals I'll be documenting things like how my garden's getting on, or my journey with my health, something like that. So what I would do in that instance is create a few pages that all had the same washi tape on the side. So I'll just do one more. And so then when you're flicking through your journals, you'd easily be able to see if you picked a different tape for different types of categories, you'd easily be able to see them there all lined up together. Additionally, if you wanted to, you could actually put the tape over the edge of the page. So if you wanted to be able to see it from when your journal was kind of stood on your bookshelf, you could put your washi tape half over the edge of the page and then fold it back on itself. And I've done that with a few of my journals, also even just notebooks, if there's something that I want to be able to see the different categories. And if you do a few pages like that, you get a really lovely kind of coloured border to the sections in your journal. So again, just a really good way of being able to categorise things. The third thing I like to use washi tape for is if I'm creating a Dutch door. I'm actually going to cut off one of my pieces here. So a Dutch door is when you have a shorter or narrower page in your journal. And this can be really good if you want to keep some notes together, again on a certain subject. Perhaps you were documenting something about your garden or something like that, or books you're reading in here, and you might decide that you then want to use this piece here for adding some photos, quotes or notes on the back. It just is a really interesting little element to add to your journal pages. But once they've been cut, they can be a little bit flimsy. So again, particularly if I wanted to keep it within the same category, I would just add another strip of washi tape to that Dutch door. So it adds a little bit of strength and is a really good way of showing that those pages belong together, and you can instantly see that you've got that Dutch door there. The next thing you could consider doing with washi tape is if you've got a slightly boring or less interesting looking notebook cover, you could use washi tape strips to add some lovely decoration. So with this one, I've just added strips of washi tape all the way down my page, and it was a plain white cover and it instantly transformed the look of that notebook. So lots of fun, and it gives a little extra protection to your journal. For my fifth idea, I love using washi tape to put in what's classed as tip-in cards in your journals. So you can add something in here, a nice decorative card, and use that washi tape as a kind of hinge. You can also see from my journals, I often layer washi tape on top of each other, but it's something I use on nearly all of my journal pages. So if I wanted to add this little card that I've decorated into my journal, you can just use some washi tape on the front and the back of it. And it's such a lovely way of being able to add some different decorative elements onto your pages. So you pop it on the front like that, flip your card over. And you could do this with things like tickets, any little bits that you collect when you're out and about that you want to keep hold of, and perhaps you want to be able to see the front and the back of it. So then you've got that there on your journal pages. It's a really fun extra element. For idea number 6, I wanted to talk to you about what can be referred to as washi tape art. It's a really good way of decorating different elements and things that you want to bring into your journals. So if I wanted some hearts, I could draw those on a piece of paper. And I could then add some washi tape as decoration. And it's quite helpful if you can do it on paper that you can see through. So I'm going to add some strips of washi. And I'm going to layer up, perhaps use some of the silver dots in between. And just make sure you cover all of the design. So I'm just going to do exactly the same for the other 2 hearts. And once you've got your designs covered, you can cut them out. As it happens, I can actually see this pen through the washi tape, but if not, I would have been able to see them from the back to cut them out. And I've done similar things with feathers, or even just simple things like circles, little arrows, triangles, just any fun decoration that you'd like to add to your journal pages. So I'm just going to cut the other two out. And I'm now going to go back to that first page in my journal, and I'm going to glue these down. Just so quick and easy, but a lovely way of creating some decorations that tie in with the border that's already on that journal page. These are also great if you like sending letters and cards. You can use washi tape to decorate the envelopes. Again, add some little extra decorative elements like these on the envelopes. Just so pretty, really easy to do. I think that makes such a fun difference to the look of that journal page. So next up, idea number 7. Not quite journal related, but very closely linked, is looking after your stationery and being able to easily identify it. If you live or work somewhere where people like to borrow your stationery and you want to easily be able to identify which is yours, one really nice, quick and easy way, just adding some little strips of washi tape around your pens and pencils, and then I think you can safely say that hopefully these ones are going to be returned to you because it's just so easy to identify. So the next idea I wanted to share with you was about including perhaps photos in your journals. And one of the things I really like to do is add some frames to them to help them stand out. So I would use my washi tape. One, it's a great way of just adding them to your page. I think it really helps them to stand out. This gives that really pretty decorative element. And there's such a wonderful choice of washi tape available now. I think that's the only problem with washi, is that there's always so many new designs that it's hard not to want them all, because there'll always be a project or a journal page that you know those washi tapes are just going to look wonderful with. I think with this one I might use this bold lime green. And then what I would do on a page like this is include some journal writing next to these photos, just about where I was, what I'm documenting. And for me, journaling is a really good way of making sure those photos that I take don't just stay on my phone. I make sure I get them printed off quickly and added to my journal, so I can just write a few notes down about the days out, what's happening in the garden, anything like that. Just really quick and easy, but makes a real difference to the look of those photos. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about, so idea number 9, is using washi tape to cover up and fix mistakes. So if I was in the middle of writing a heading up here, and say I was adding the lettering of photos, and for some reason I realised that I've spelt it wrong, washi tape has covered up so many mistakes in my journals. Sometimes, because they can be quite see-through, you might need to add a couple of layers, but that really depends on the tape that you're using. And I've actually had comments on a few journal pages of, oh wow, I'd never have thought to have put washi tape there. That's just added such an interesting element to your pages. And sometimes that's happened as a really Just a lovely little happy accident where I've actually covered something up. And with washi tapes, I often like to tear them. Just gives a lovely little rough edge. And if you then layer them on top of each other, just gives another look again. The final idea that I'm going to share with you is using washi tape for masking. Now, I try not to use my absolute favourites for something like this, but if maybe I've accidentally picked up some duplicate washi tapes, or somebody's sent me one that I've already got, maybe there's one I'm not as fond of as some of the others, using it to mask off areas is a really good way of making sure you don't waste any. I actually have some cheaper washi tapes that I use pretty much just for this process, but I'll show you 2 different ways in which I might do masking. So if I wanted some lines across my page, which I often do perhaps for writing on, I run my pen over both sides of that washi tape. So I'm going to end up with a really nice crisp line along the edge there. And another way that I use it is if I'm doing something perhaps with wet mediums. So if I want to have a frame that I'm going to add some decoration to, so I'm going to use one of my Stabilo woodies here. I'm going to activate that with some water and just create a lovely little wash on my page. And I can take that right up again to the edge and over the top of that washi tape. And know that I'm still going to have a lovely crisp line there. So I'm going to get that washed off. If you find washi tape difficult to remove, heating it up with something like a hairdryer or a heat tool can really help you remove them because it starts to dissolve the glue a little bit. And so now I've peeled that tape away, you can see I've got these lovely straight edges and it's masked off that washed area there. I really hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's given you lots of ideas for putting your washi tape to good use in your journals. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.